Hello, everyone. I never planned on making a YouTube video at all, being a content creator. I don't think my butt looks too good on Instagram, but I am now a very experienced pro se litigant in both state court and federal court. I started out with a win regarding First Amendment rights. You'll also know that as Section 8, 1983. Get used to it if you're not, especially if you're new to pro se. I won that completely on my own with my own drafted complaints. It was a mess. I had to testify on the witness stand. I took a beating, especially under the rules of the state rules of evidence. The defense counsel got a good laugh catching me off guard with that one. It's been a rough ride. I've taken a lot of bumps, but I have a lot to share. I've learned a lot. And now I can say that of my 6 federal cases, one is definitely headed to trial. One is about to enter a motion review hearing. It involves a municipality. The one that's going to trial involves an individual at a charter school. The one that is nearing ready for default entry of default is going to be ready in about 2 days. Hopefully, counsel has given up. They've not even entered their appearance yet. These are all really technical terms. Attorneys know them all off the bat. Other experienced pro ses also know them. But for all of you who are new to it, you need to learn these. AI alone, AI will do the filing. AI will do the research. AI will generate your drafts. AI can do your research. AI cannot get you ready for court, cannot prepare you to deal with judges. It cannot do the lawyering. That's even more important than knowing about the laws, the lawyering. AI cannot make sure you keep up with your response deadlines. That's a great way to lose a case. AI can help you sort out a judge's orders or a magistrate's orders to review and redo your complaint or a submission. What it can't do is make sense out of your filings. My background, I was an environmental engineer. I acquired a pretty decent IT background, including software and some coding, which helps a lot in understanding how to phrase your questions to AI. A common criticism of the AIs or the LLMs or whatever we want to call them is that they spit out garbage. Well, admittedly, many people are very vague about giving directions or what they want to see as results. And if that is you, you're going to have to learn how to be very exact in what you ask for from the AIs and be explicit about your instructions. If you're looking for how to structure a question, that's things we will go over. Look up when you make a request to an AI, structure it in a list format. I've thought about how to organize this, but have not actually done it. It's going to be very ad hoc. I already have a survey out posted for topics people are interested in. In the background, you can see one of my prompts. It's very exact. And this is the response I get. This, by the way, is it's in Opus, as you can see in the lower corner there. I do have the $20 a month Claude subscription. I love Fable. It's breath of fresh air. I also have a basic Windows subscription, so I get a bit more use of Copilot tokens, and then I use Gemini for free. Everyone has their varying opinions of them. Claude is at the top. I would say Copilot is in second place. They often complement each other. When I do document reviews, Gemini got dismissed by both of them for a long time, but it's had a big improvement. So that's where things are. I will stop this core recording for now. Again, feel free to post comments, questions, things you want to hear. Well, I'll go on a little bit more. It's only been 30 seconds. Basically, attorneys are very unaffordable. They have to make a living too. They have law school debt to pay. They have bills to pay. And even when you have the money to afford an attorney, their their client list may be full. They may not be able to take you. So what's left? As I experienced with my first victory as a pro se, as an IFP pro se, which means informed pauperis, which translates into pauper. It was completely by hand, my own research. At least I had access to the traditional internet search engines, and I won. Uh, I didn't win any money. Well, I did win expenses, which you can get as a victor. An important detail to know as a pro se person, you cannot collect attorney's fees. There, there is some mention that you could, uh, but as a typical, I think as tradition and possibly even laws in most states, you cannot collect similar equivalent attorney's fees for your work as pro se, especially because you got a lot of your filing costs or all of your filing costs waived. So that's probably why. Other things to start this channel off. You know, everyone's rights are getting trampled on. This is the easiest way to do it. You'll go mad. I wouldn't be able to manage all these cases without AI. I mean, even with search engines and paper filing, it would be extremely difficult, maddening, and I wouldn't be able to do it. But with the AIs, especially when you have cases that are very similar in nature, you can cross-reference many things. And for those of you who have multiple cases you would like to file or have filed, you know exactly what I'm talking about with similarities, similar parties, similar complaints. But do your research. The best way to start doing your research is asking. Uh, Post the same question to all three AI, whatever AIs you choose three of them. Think of it like asking three acquaintances or three friends for their opinion on something. You'll get a couple different response. You'll get varying responses. If you've asked the question the right way, you'll hear things you don't want to hear. You won't hear all your ideas are great ones. That's what when the AIs are telling you that not all of your ideas work. That's when you know you're on the right track. Um, now I'll come back to this other time. It's a bit late at night, but I give a shout out to the channels that I watch, such as One Rental at a Time. This would be extremely useful for both landlords and investors who are being screwed by, say, very pro squatter laws and regulations at the municipal and state level. It would also be very useful for tenants who are being hammered by bad landlords and bad investors. And as much as the one rental at a time, people may not like to admit there are bad landlords and bad investors. There are also bad municipal judicial officials. An important piece of advice, in my experience, you may hear a lot about judicial immunity and prosecutorial immunity. At the federal level, you get that, as I unfortunately have found out. However, in most states, there are laws to hold judicial officials and prosecutors accountable. A dirty trick that I discovered that can be used is called removing a case from a state court or a municipal court to federal court. The only way that can be done is when there's a federal question. My mistake in pursuing a judge, magistrate, and prosecutor was that I included the 14th Amendment. It's a great catch-all, but unfortunately, because that brings up what's called a federal question, the defense counsel removed that to federal court, and I lost on the principles of absolute judicial immunity and absolute prosecutorial immunity. It's bad. It's dirty. It infringes on citizens' rights. That's unfortunately the way the system is built. If you're dealing with state officials, you get to know things like the 11th Amendment and Rucker-Feldman, which are awful and evil and bad and hurt American citizens. They're totally designed to protect states from liability. In fact, it's easier to sue the U.S. government in what's called the Court of Claims than it is to go after the states. However, you can go after individual state officials. So keep that in mind. What I've learned about law is a lot about threading the needle. Broad spectrum attacks don't work as well as many YouTube channels giving advice to pro se litigants will advise. The shotgun approach doesn't always work. Threading the needle does. If you are going to shotgun, you need to have all the parties have be lumped into similar offenses, and also emotions. Being a pro se person, especially if you're filing IFP, well, if you're your back is in the wall, your back is against the corner, is in the corner. You are already desperate. You know you're right. You've been violated, and you're fighting back with the only tool you have left to fight back with: AIs and the internet and your computer. Attorneys have access to more resources than any of us ever will, even with AI. They have their own specialized AIs that do law. We have to use the general ones. They've come a long way in the past 3 years. And now, yes, been doing this for 3 years or 2 years now. So there's been vast improvements. I think one of the things we'll go over if someone, I'm not too comfortable bringing up my cases. I'll find a way to maybe make them very generic and show how to walk an AI stepwise into the thinking you want it to do to draft a complaint or a response. But again, about the emotions, the attorneys are empowered by a lot of access that you don't have. What they're not empowered by is the emotions. The emotions, they go home at the end of the day. You are tuned up to defend your rights. So you will be the one who is up on Friday night or early Saturday morning working on your case, whereas the attorney's in bed. The flip side is your emotions, your hate can distract you, can frustrate you, can make you not think logically, and you have to think logically. Judges care about logic. In time, they may grow to be sympathetic towards your cause, as what's happened to me. Not to say that they're on my side, but when they've seen enough. The same judges have seen enough filings. Same judge, the same magistrate have seen enough filings involving many of the same parties, and they've started to lean towards, hey, maybe this guy did get screwed over. So if you're in that boat, just keep plugging away. You have nothing to lose, except the case. You'll have to dig into the most negative emotion you're not supposed to, called hate. I've had to. It will eat you up. However, you need to choose what kind of hate. They, them, the system wants you to choose the hate of, say, a Bane or a Rambo or someone vengeful, grabbing your gun, grabbing your knife, going in the street, going wild, looking to cause physical harm. That's the wrong kind of hate. The hate you want to marshal and use is more like Heath Ledger's Joker: plotting and planning and scheming, thinking of angles, analyzing all the time. And yes, that may be waking up at night thinking, aha, wow, I just thought of this. And then jumping on your computer maybe a little bit before you go to work. Or, as I've done, download the AIs that you're using onto your phone and you can type them up there. You can do document generation through the AIs on your phone. And if you're logged into an account, they'll be connected when you get back to your laptop or your desktop. You can do some level of document generation through the phone AIs. Document editing, I advise you, get Google Docs, get Microsoft Word or Open Office and do document editing on your phone. Very limited. It's pretty easy to mess that up. And take advantage of the pro se resources at your local, state, and federal courthouses. They are very useful, again, because even when you've generated documents, everything is automated and it looks great. The judges are human. The opposing counsel is human. You're going to be in front of humans. If you're successful, you're either going to be in settlement or in court. And it's really a time to stop amateur hour at that point. you can let yourself get carried away and snatch absolute defeat from the jaws of absolute victory. I will pause here and stop this video and see what responses come back. And I look forward to helping all of you defend your rights against the man, the system, them, they, etc.